684 species in genus Salix. Willow tree. Willows, a love affair with Salix. The wind whispers through the weeping willow in my backyard, its slender leaves shimmering like green silk. I've always been drawn to willows, their graceful forms, their resilience, their association with both melancholy and magic. It's no wonder that the genus Salix from the Salicaceae family, encompassing all willows and sallows, has captivated botanists and nature lovers for centuries. As a plant enthusiast, I've spent countless hours studying these fascinating trees and shrubs. They're a diverse bunch, ranging from the towering crack willow, Salix fragilis, to the diminutive Arctic willow, Salix arctica. What unites them all is their adaptability and their crucial role in various ecosystems. FAQs. What does a willow tree symbolize? To me, a willow tree symbolizes the quiet resilience we all possess within. I've always been drawn to their gentle beauty, how their long branches sway delicately in the wind. It makes me think of times I've faced adversity. Sometimes, bending with the challenges felt like the only way to get through. But just like a willow stands strong after a storm, we are capable of enduring difficult times. Seeing those graceful trees reminds me that flexibility doesn't mean weakness. It's often our greatest strength. Where do willow trees grow? I have lovely memories of willow trees from a childhood trip to a nearby lake. They line the shore, their branches trailing down towards the water like they wanted a drink. I've learned they thrive in those kinds of places, anywhere with moist soil and plenty of water. They love being near rivers, ponds, and wetlands. I've even seen some smaller types that people plant in their gardens as long as they keep them well watered. I'm not sure if they grow in the wild where I live now, but I always keep an eye out just in case. How fast do willow trees grow? I was absolutely amazed when I learned how fast willow trees can grow. We had one in our backyard when I was a kid, and it seemed like every year it towered a bit higher. Apparently, they can shoot up several feet in a single year. That makes me wish we'd kept track of how much ours grew. It would have been fun to see those numbers. I sometimes wonder just how tall it's gotten now, and if the new owners of the house appreciate its shade on hot summer days, just like we used to. When do willow trees bloom? Willow trees are one of the first signs that spring is coming, at least where I grew up. I remember being so excited to spot those fuzzy catkins peeking out from the bare branches. They were always a welcome change after months of winter gray. I think it usually happened around April or May, but I'd always watch for them eagerly, as if I could will them into bloom a little earlier. The first sighting was always cause for celebration. How long do willow trees live? It's a little bittersweet to think about, but willow trees don't have such long lifespans compared to some of the other grand old trees out there. I suppose it's part of what makes them so special. Their beauty feels more fleeting. I've read they usually reach full maturity pretty quickly, sometimes living only a few decades. It always reminds me to appreciate the present moment and to soak in the gentle swaying of their branches whenever I get the chance. What does a willow tree look like? Willow trees have a really distinctive look that makes them easy to spot. Here are some of their most noticeable features. Long, slender branches. Probably the most iconic thing about willows is their cascading branches that often look like they're reaching down towards the ground. Narrow, delicate leaves. Their leaves are long and thin, sometimes with a slightly silvery underside that shimmers in the wind. Fuzzy catkins. In early spring, before their leaves fully come in, willows burst forth with soft, fuzzy catkins that look almost like little caterpillars. Their overall shape can vary depending on the species. Some are tall and elegant, while others are more like sprawling shrubs. But they all have that graceful, slightly melancholic air about them, which I find incredibly beautiful. Do willow trees have flowers? Yes, willow trees do have flowers, but they're not the big, showy kind you might be visualizing. Instead, they produce little clusters of flowers called catkins. These appear early in the spring, often before the leaves, and look like soft, fuzzy little caterpillars clinging to the branches. Individual flowers within the catkin are very tiny, so sometimes they go unnoticed. But those catkins are definitely their way of blooming. What does a willow tree represent? Willow trees hold a lot of symbolism across different cultures. Here are some of the most common meanings. Resilience and flexibility. Willows are known for their ability to bend in strong winds without breaking. This represents our inner strength during tough times and our ability to adapt to change, emotions, healing, and loss. Their drooping branches and association with water often symbolize sadness, grief, and longing. But there's also a sense of healing in that imagery, like tears cleansing the soul, femininity, and lunar connection. In many cultures, willows are linked to the moon, water, and feminine energy because of their gentle appearance, mysticism, and spirituality. Willows feature prominently in folklore and mythology, often being associated with magic and the otherworldly. Ultimately, the symbolism of a willow tree is deeply personal. It might evoke a specific memory for you, a feeling, or even resonate with a challenge you're facing. Are willow trees invasive? Yes. Unfortunately, many species of willow trees are considered invasive in various parts of the world. Here's why. Rapid growth and spread. Willow trees grow incredibly fast and spread easily through both seeds and broken branches. This allows them to take over waterways and wetlands quickly, outcompeting native plants. Willows can form dense thickets that crowd out native plant species, disrupting the local ecosystem and reducing biodiversity. Negative impacts on waterways. Their extensive root systems can clog streams and rivers, altering water flow and negatively impacting aquatic life. It's important to note that not all willow species are equally invasive, and some areas are more affected than others. Before planting a willow tree, it's crucial to check with local authorities to ensure you're not choosing a potentially invasive species for your region. Do deer eat willow trees? Deer will sometimes eat willow trees, but they don't consider them a favorite food. Here's what you need to know. Not top of the menu. Deer are browsers, meaning they prefer a variety of tender leaves, young shoots, and buds. Willows generally aren't the tastiest option in their environment. When willows become food, during food scarcity, harsh winters, limited resources, deer are more likely to turn to willows out of necessity. Species matters. Some types of willows may be more palatable to deer than others. Overall, you might see deer nibble on the leaves and shoots of willow trees from time to time, but they're not usually a high-priority part of their diet. Do willow trees lose their leaves? Absolutely. Willow trees are deciduous, which means they lose their leaves every autumn. This is a natural adaptation to help them survive the colder winter months. When the days get shorter and temperatures start to drop, the tree stops producing chlorophyll, the substance that gives leaves their green color. The leaves eventually turn yellow or brown, then fall off as the tree enters a dormant period to conserve energy. How much is a weeping willow tree? The price of a weeping willow tree can vary greatly depending on several factors: size and age. A young sapling will be significantly cheaper than a mature, established tree. Type. There are different weeping willow varieties, and some may be more sought after than others. Source. Buying from a local nursery, an online retailer, or a specialized tree farm can impact the price. Potted versus bare root. Potted trees tend to be a bit more expensive than bare root trees. Here's a rough price range to give you an idea. Small saplings. You might find these for as low as $15, $1.50 to medium-sized trees. 5 to 7 feet, these could range from $100, $400 to mature trees. Larger, well-established weeping willows can easily cost several hundred and even upwards of $1,000. Tip. Always compare prices from different sources and look for sales or discounts, especially if you're planning to buy multiple trees. How do you revive a dying willow tree? Here's how you can attempt to revive a dying willow tree. Remember, success isn't guaranteed, but these steps can increase its chances of survival. Diagnose the problem. Underwatering. Look for dry, brittle leaves and soil. Overwatering. Check for yellowing leaves and soggy, smelly soil. Disease. Examine for spots, discoloration, or damaged bark. Pests. Look for signs of infestation or chewed leaves. Address the issue. Watering. If underwatered, give a deep soak. If overwatered, let it dry out and improve drainage. Disease/pests. Consult a local garden center or arborist for identification and treatment options. Damage. Prune away significantly damaged branches cleanly, just above a growth node. Supportive care. Nutrients. Consider a balanced fertilizer specifically for trees, but avoid fertilizing a very stressed tree. Mulch. A layer of mulch around the base, not touching the trunk, retains moisture and suppresses weeds. Patience. Don't overload the tree with changes. Give it time to respond. Be realistic. If the tree is severely damaged, especially at the trunk or roots, it may not be salvageable. Important notes: always consult local experts for specific diseases/pests in your area. If you're unsure, getting professional help is always a good idea. A world of willows, diversity and distribution. The sheer variety within the Salix genus is astounding. Imagine walking through a sun-dappled woodland and encountering the goat willow, Salix caprea, its branches laden with fuzzy catkins that resemble tiny kittens. Then picture yourself traversing a riverbank, where the white willow, Salix alba, stands tall, its leaves shimmering silver in the breeze. These are just two examples of the hundreds of Salix species found throughout the world. Willows are predominantly found in the northern hemisphere, thriving in moist soils and cool climates. They're particularly abundant in riparian zones, where their extensive root systems help stabilize riverbanks and prevent erosion. But willows are also surprisingly adaptable, with some species even inhabiting Arctic and alpine regions. See full list at monsteraholic.com. Ecological importance. More than just pretty trees. Willows are not just aesthetically pleasing, they play a vital role in their ecosystems. Their flowers are a valuable source of nectar and pollen for early-season pollinators, such as bees and butterflies. Their leaves and branches provide food and shelter for a wide range of animals, from deer and rabbits to birds and insects. Furthermore, willows have a remarkable ability to absorb pollutants and heavy metals from the soil, making them useful for phytoremediation. They also help prevent soil erosion and improve water quality, thanks to their extensive root systems. Willows in human history, from baskets to aspirin. Humans have utilized willows for centuries. Their flexible branches are ideal for basket weaving, while their wood has been used for everything from furniture to cricket bats. Willow bark contains salicylic acid, a natural pain reliever that was the precursor to aspirin. In traditional medicine, willow bark has been used to treat fever, headaches, and inflammation. A personal connection. Why I love willows. My fascination with willows goes beyond their botanical characteristics. There's something about their graceful forms and their resilience that resonates with me. I find solace in the rustling of their leaves and the dappled shade they provide. They're a reminder of the beauty and strength of the natural world. Whether I'm admiring a weeping willow's cascading branches or examining the intricate details of a willow catkin, I'm always filled with a sense of wonder. The Salix genus is a testament to the diversity and adaptability of life on Earth, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn from and appreciate these remarkable trees.